Start recording. Stop recording. Button.
Hello folks, welcome to this vid. It's basically a top 10 or top 8 albums of the decade. So this is mixed genres, and this is going from, I'd say 2010. I might add some from 2009, 2008. So at number 10, and this is going from 2008, 2009, is Pendulums in Silico. What a fantastic album. It was a follow-up from their first album. I heard their first album secondly, and I'm not going to say that their first album is terrible, because I love everything that Pendulum has done, but this is what I was introduced to, so that's at number 10. Yeah, it introduces people to pop and everything. The fat snares and everything, but it's got some pop sounds on it. It's still Pendulum. It's just very... I'd say some of the tracks are lighter. You can sort of see where they were going with this. And yeah. Number 9 is Black Sabbath's, or should I say Heaven and Hell's, Devil, The Devil You Know, with Ronnie James Dio in it. And it was the final album they did with Ronnie James Dio before his death in 2010, 2011. He had liver cancer or something. So yeah, not good. But a great album. Unfortunately, Dio's singing is quite mellow, but you can tell that it's not his best. And it's a great album. You know, you've got songs like Bible Black on it, which is really good. Really great song. You've got some really great songs on there. Some fast songs, some slow songs. And yeah, it's really great. So yeah. At number 8 is Muse's third album, which I forgot the name, but it's kind of like Muse it's the last great album they did. Unfortunately, I think people just were complaining about them sounding the same, but to be frank and honest, what was wrong? They did an orchestra bit, and yeah, it's just a great album. All the classics are on there. And they changed their sound up a little bit. Number 7, got to include this on my list somewhere. Death Grips, The Money Store. What an album. Seriously. It's like, I know Death Grips are an alienated band. You don't know where to top them. It's like alienated hip hop with like punk sounds, noise sounds, avant-garde. Really hard to place them. But with The Money Store was kind of a bit of a commercial album. They kind of went with the alienated hip-hop sound with elements of punk, so it was like noise punk with elements of hip-hop, or alienated hip-hop, but they kind of tried to commercialise what they did with The Money Store. But it's a great album. It's got some of my favourite songs on there, like I've Seen Footage, and Double Helix, and System Blower. All the classics. It's a great album, nonetheless. It's very difficult to listen to, which is why it's on my list. Number 5 is got to be Skrillex's first album. The album with Bangarang on. I can't remember. But yeah, Skrillex.
WhatsApp. Now. Lee Merrick at Henshaw's Memories. Microphone. Voice message.
It was basically 2 EPs, and like his first album was just like 2 EPs put
WhatsApp.
together.
Now. Mark J at Henshaw's Memories. Microphone. Voice message.
But yeah, I like Skrillex. You know, like Bangarang and Breaking a Sweat and Weekend. All those tracks are classics.
WhatsApp. Now. Lee Merrick at Henshaw's Memories. Microphone. Voice message.
Yeah, I think it's Weekend. And then I can't remember what the rest of the tracks are on that album, but I like the one with rock and roll on it, which is really
WhatsApp.
good.
Now. Mark J at Henshaw's Memories.
That was
Microphone.
done
Voice message.
pretty early. At number 4, right, so just to say, this album is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. The last album that Thunder did is absolutely. I'm gonna say they did what they did was right. They decided that they were worried about musical differences. They were worried about if their music would change, so they split up at the right time. I know people were quite upset about it, but yeah, Thunder were a great band. And I advise you check them out. Their last album, yeah, they changed the sound a little bit, but they didn't change it anymore. And all the albums are fantastic. And their last album was just a really good album. At number 4 is Weird Kids. Weird Kids from Weird Kids. There's an album called Weird Kids. Now, I haven't got it because I'm not buying albums from iTunes anymore as a rule. Well, I will buy albums from iTunes when I've discovered something out, but there's a problem with iTunes. I don't want to go over it here. But there's an album, and you can find it on YouTube, as well as iTunes. They're also on CD Baby, and they've got some great songs on that. Strange Kids, Robot Land, Time Machine, all that sort of stuff. So yeah. At number 3, at number 3 is Death Magnetic from Metallica. Now, Death Magnetic is a fantastic album. Because it's just pure Metallica. Excuse me. It's hard to listen to because it's like their earlier stuff mixed with the like stuff like Saint Anger and stuff like that. It's just difficult to listen to, but I mean the solos are back, but the solos are way overdone on some of the tracks. But that's not me to say that they're good tracks. But it's a great album, and I've put it up high up on my list because there is some brilliant tracks on it, and I mean, technically, Metallica revolutionized some of the metal out there. They even revolutionized some of the classic rock and the prog rock, and they were responsible for doing that. I mean, when you hear "And Justice for All," they some of the sounds that you hear on "And Justice for All," basically a lot of the death metal bands and black metal bands were going for those sort of drum sounds and really harsh guitar sounds and stuff. The way that was mixed, so Metallica paved the way for a lot of things. When they brought the Black Album out, they paved the way for classic rock bands. They paved the way for a lot of things. So, Metallica were responsible for paving the way for certain bands to come back, and I guess they sort of paved the way for Deep Purple to come out of their box, because once the Black Album came, out, people were, But I think they should have kept the sound that they had for the Black Album. I know they went a bluesy route, which people didn't like, but I like all of Metallica stuff. I didn't like their cover album, but we won't talk on that. So number two is got to be something that chose at random. Number two has to be we'll go with that one. Number two has to be Cosmo Jarvis. His first album he did was brilliant. Obviously he's gone more sort of poppy a bit, but his first album was sensational. And you have to listen to it to get my point, but yeah. And at number one has to be Pulled Apart by Horses. They did some phenomenal tracks. Phenomenal stuff. I'm going to do some honourable mentions here because I've just gone straight to number one. So these are the bands I could have talked about. So I could have talked about the Courteeners. because they brought some phenomenal stuff out. The album that I actually bought, their last album that they did, not the last album, the album before that. Could have been talked about this in Spiral Carpets, but I didn't buy their last album, so gave some of the the latest stuff has been brilliant. Paul Heaton and Jackie Abbott, could have talked about them. Crumbs. I could have even talked about bands like Goldie Looking Chain, which did another album in 2000, and in stuff that I just didn't even buy. But I'll just talk about some stuff that I'm listening to now. So, stuff I'm listening to now, which is Marsioplex, I think that's how you pronounce them. I've been introduced to them. What I think to Marsioplex? Well, I'd love to go and see them live, but technically, I'd like to listen to a little bit more of them. But I don't rate them enough to listen to them. I mean, they're great, but it's like, I don't know. This like the track. Some of the tracks are good, but I don't know. I mean, it's techno house. A lot of people. I'm just gonna say now. A lot of people that listen to techno house just rate it as techno. There is different types of techno. There's acid techno, hard techno, and it's actually hardcore techno. They don't call it hard techno. Hardcore techno, which is the stuff that I kind of like. And yeah, that's basically it. I mean, Gabba was considered Gabba techno at one time, but that's just now Gabba. I love Gabba. Unfortunately, is
WhatsApp now. Sophie Thong at Henschel's Memories. Microphone. Voice
not a lot
message.
of artists I know that do Gabba, but I know Scott Brown did a bit. But yeah.
WhatsApp now. Sophie Thong at Henschel's Memories. Microphone. Voice message.
What else am I listening to? Boards of Canada. I'm listening to them at the moment. I'm also listening to Coil, Throbbing Gristle, Psychic TV.
WhatsApp now. Mark J at Henschel's Memories. Microphone. Voice message.
What else am I listening to? Death Grips. Mentioned them before. I'm trying to think of something new. See, the problem is...
WhatsApp now. Sophie Thong at Henschel's Memories. Microphone. Voice message.
I've discovered a lot of nice, sort of noise rock bands, but...
WhatsApp now. Natalie Jones at Henschel's Memories. Microphone. Voice message.
I don't know.
WhatsApp now. Sophie Thong at Henschel's Memories. Microphone. Voice message.
I mean, I don't really discover a lot of new bands. All that much. But I have
WhatsApp now. Sophie Thong at Henschel's Memories. Microphone.
Was
voice
this
message.
year or last year? I discovered Kate Tempest. She's really good, but I only like one album that she's done. And I've also discovered the Sleepford Mods. They're good.
WhatsApp now. Natalie Jones at Henschel's Memories. Microphone. Voice message.
What else have I discovered? In my trying to think what else I've discovered. So the problem is, there isn't a lot of new bands that I'll just go, yay, woo, you know. Even with the dance music. And my sisters, like, they'll find something in Spotify and they'll go, have you heard this track? And I'm like, yeah, I found it on Spotify before you heard it. So, yeah. But I like Fake Blood's early stuff. I like, you know, I don't really rate Martin Garrix much these days. I mean, his early stuff was good, but then his latest stuff has just gone, and it's gone. It's the same with everybody, isn't it? So I don't rate, you know. Um, have I stopped listening to those artists though? Not really, because they've done great early work. I still like the first two albums that David Guetta did. I mean, I like Kygo's track, Higher Love, but it's the only one I like that he's done. But yeah,
Stop recording.